Hello, can you hear me? Testing the stream. We're gonna go to video in just one moment. Just want to test this. Everyone, hang on to your boots. We'll be there in just 1 second so we can get this rolling. Appreciate the scenic overlook. If somebody can leave me a message and let me know that the audio is all right, that would be very helpful. Okay, so audio is good. Good to know. All right, so we're gonna get up to speed. Hope everyone has their coffee. We're gonna go to video now. Goodbye, whooshing sound. And hello. Hey everyone, I'm here. Only 7 minutes. 7 minutes late. I think I'm getting better at this. So, where do we even start? Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack. I don't know if everyone has seen my video from yesterday. Yesterday I talked about how I thought we're gonna jump right into it. I don't know I hope everyone's cool with that. If we're just gonna jump right into it, I feel like everybody's probably cool with that. I'm gonna edit this chat a little bit, just so everyone can read what people are saying. I want to make the text a little bit bigger. Whoops. Always fixing things live. That's how I do it. Everything, doing it live. So, how is everyone doing on this eve after watching part 16? It hurts to say. It feels like it came too quickly. This has been probably one of the best summers of my 20s, my later 20s. Easy best summer. Let me know how you guys are doing while I do a quick fix here. Chat box, here we go. I want everything. Actually, it might be okay. Let's see. Hide message after. Let's do a minute. Hopefully that works. Still not big enough. There we go. I think that's big enough. I'm still getting used to this whole streaming thing. Last night had me in tears by the end. I agree. This whole day I walked around with hello Philippe or Philip. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Hey Danielle, what's I was standing for half of part 16 because I know. Today I've had like the best day. I don't know. I'm sure 90% of it has to do with Twin Peaks, but like this is the sort of the happiest Monday I've had in a while. It was the least Monday feeling Monday I think I've had in my adult life, because and it's, some people might think it's silly to have my emotions dictated by a television show, but I think Twin Peaks, in my brain, Twin Peaks sort of is more than just TV. It's bigger than that. It's a movement. I'm getting weird alerts here. Hope everyone is okay. By the way, I don't know if I have any viewers from Texas. What's happening down there is I have no words. Terrible. But Twin Peaks. I had to comfort our dog after jumping, gasping, yelling the whole hour. I was like, and just like a round of applause for, a good 10 minutes after Cooper came to. It's, I'm all smiley. It's like I'm in love or something, for the first time. Oh, this chat is all up in my face. I just realized that. I'll move it down here. There we go. It is more than just TV. I agree. It's hard. It's almost like a good book. It gives you the same satisfaction, and it kind of stays with you like a good book does. Nobody puts that. I mean, people do put down people that are super intense about books and whatnot, but I feel like this sort of has that same quality, that it just like is in your chest and it stays there, and it does stuff, and you react to everything that's happening. But there's so much to unpack here, and I wanted to do. I ended up cooking dinner, but I wanted to research tulpas and go really deep into Tulpa lore, Tibetan lore. There's stuff from all over the place. And we know that from the secret history of Twin Peaks. They pulled, Mark Frost and David Lynch pulled stuff from everywhere. See, my brain, when I want to talk about history and lore, mythology, and occult, supernatural, I go to Mark Frost. Mark Frost comes to the front of my brain. He's the first name I think of. When I talk about the characters, which are also Mark Frost, but there's a weird shift, like an unspoken shift that happens when I'm talking about Twin Peaks. Sometimes Mark Frost will be the first name I mention, and Twin Peaks and David Lynch second, and sometimes it'll jump back. It's hard to figure out what to mention first. So much and such an impact. You're right about that, Troy. I'm like, as I'm speaking, I'm trying to think of what I want to hit first, and I'll probably jump at you guys with what I want to hit. I should have taken notes, but I'm a little underprepared. I hope you guys forgive me. I watched the original in its first run, and it's so great to see people discover this and excel at analyzing it. Okay, so when did I start watching Twin Peaks? It's 2017. I think I started watching about 4 or 5 years ago. And funny story, some people don't believe this when I tell them. I had to watch the pilot 3 times before I got into it for real. I think I probably tried to watch it when I was like 15 or 16, and I didn't care for it, to be honest. I thought it was too slow. I thought it was boring. I wasn't interested in anything happening. But I tried to watch it again probably like a year or 2 later. I got through the pilot, but then didn't bother watching the rest for whatever reason. And then my 20s, I came into my 20s, I think 21 is when I started watching, when I watched it a third time. I watched the pilot the third time. And the third time was the charm. I fell head first into it. I don't know what I was thinking previously. I guess it's all about timing. I don't think I'm glad I gave it another chance, because the thing that happened was I didn't go for Twin Peaks right away. I started, getting really into film and studying and film analyzing and all of that stuff. I took film theory class in college, and I decided, the stuff that they're teaching in this class, I don't care for it. I've seen half of these movies. I'm going to do my own film theory. So what I did was I searched, and I knew I liked sort of surrealism, and I looked at some of the best films of all time, and Eraserhead was on there, but not only Eraserhead, Blue Velvet. So, thinking that it was an interesting name and knowing the song, and having seen some like gifs or something from the movie or something motivated me to watch Blue Velvet, and I did. Became immediately obsessed. Blue Velvet was, incredible. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to start working backwards up the David Lynch ladder of movies. So then Blue Velvet, Eraserhead. I think I then watched Inland Empire because it was the newest one, and then Mulholland Drive, which also like put me even further in the David Lynch hole. And then after I watched everything, watched Wild at Heart, which cracked me up. I love that movie. And the rest, and Elephant Man, which broke my heart. And I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. David Lynch knows what he's doing. He could get at all the parts of me. He could, he had the shock value. He had the heart. He had the happy endings. He knew how to terrify me. So there was like just a lot of respect just watching the movies. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give Twin Peaks another shot. I'm gonna watch the pilot again, and see where we go. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I knew stuff about Man from Another Place, dancing. I had seen those scenes everywhere you hear Twin Peaks, especially if you're a movie TV buff. So I watched it, and you guys probably could tell me. You guys know the rest of the story because we're here now. New obsession was born, and we're here. I got into it as it was airing, but late, and it was Wild at Heart that inspired me to watch it. I feel like Wild at Heart is that, especially this season, I feel like Wild at Heart is happening parallel somewhere else. It has a lot of the same vibe, at least as this season of Twin Peaks, and it kind of felt like the original. But I definitely see that. It was. I want to say it was Mulholland Drive for me that tipped me over, but by Blue Velvet I was already toying with the idea. I have my coffee here, by the way. So, just a little background history on my love for David Lynch and how I got into Twin Peaks. And you guys, the thing that struck me about Twin Peaks, see, I wish I had watched it when it originally aired, but this I don't really talk about this much because some people don't like me aging them too much or feeling old. But when the show came out originally, I wasn't even born yet, and it ended when I was 1, I believe. When did the original series end? When was the exact date? First episode date, April 8th, 1990. So I wasn't even born yet, no. And the finale was June 10th, 1991. So I was a couple months old. So I'm still very. I wish I had that 25 years, but also it's fun to get into it now because the internet makes it such a cool thing. What do you think are the implications of Richard dying? I don't think it's that simple. I'd say he disappeared and will reappear later in some way. See, in my brain and in my heart, I want to say Richard is done. It's kind of just very visual karma happening to him. He got struck by lightning and disappeared. Meanwhile, you have Cooper getting electrocuted and coming to life. Very, very poetic. Again, maybe he's in the Black Lodge, maybe he's somewhere else, because we don't know what that. It sort of disintegrated him though, so that's why I don't know if he's still alive. But you never know. He might be reborn as he might be given a second chance because Richard was, dealt a very terrible hand. But again, you could make an argument that there are people that were dealt a very terrible hand that become very outstanding citizens and very good people. So it's all about what you make of it. But again, there's magic, mysticism. He's just the sun. he was born out of this terrible thing, and the son of this terrible, terrible, you know, half of a man. So I don't know. Richard's whole deal is a little. I wish we had a little more background. Maybe we will in the final dossier, but I don't know. I wish we had a little more time with Richard. We might still, but I feel like that was the end, to be honest. But again, what is the end in Twin Peaks? I don't know if there's ever really an end. There's just, like what did the log lady said? It's just a change. It's not really the end. I think Lynch creates work to disorient the audience through story and sound to prepare us for new and complex ideas. You're exactly right. That's why I love him. He's a very like artist. If you get what I'm saying. That's how I like. Since I've been watching the new season of Twin Peaks, I've been writing a whole lot more. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I write stories and whatnot. And actually, when I first started this YouTube channel, it was supposed to be me just talking about writing and talking about creativity and all this stuff, and then it sort of pivoted and became what it is now, and it's still pivoting. This Twin Peaks thing just happened to line up, and I just want to talk about it with everyone. It's so much fun. But Eva, you're absolutely right, and I love the sound design, and I love that Lynch is sort of in charge of the sound design of this season. Speaking of sound design, I'm just going to go on a little tangent here. Dean Hurley, who is the sound supervisor on Twin Peaks, put out an album of sort of like just sound effects, and it's on. I think you could buy like a physical album, but it's on iTunes, and I bought it, of course, and it has a lot of cool stuff, and I don't know if you probably can't see this, but yeah, I need to get a better webcam, maybe before next weekend. But I'm gonna see if I could play something. Maybe you guys hear the electricity sound? Like the whole album is filled with these sounds from the show, and I love it. I mean, it's not like an album you're gonna sit down and listen to, but it's very atmospheric, and it kind of can trigger things in your mind, especially if you're a creative. Rosenfield says, Wild at Heart was the film that solidified David Lynch as my favorite director. I could see that. Truth be told, I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan. Besides him being like used for comic relief and stuff like that, I'm not crazy about Nicolas Cage, but watched Wild at Heart changed my perspective on Nicolas Cage, at least for a little while. And Laura Dern and Nicholas, and that movie is just so damn good. I need to rewatch it. I don't have it. I really hope they put out a like a Criterion version, because I'll pick that up immediately if they put that out. So if anybody has, I know Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous mentioned something about that a little while ago, but I'm not sure when it's happening or if it is happening. But I really want a solid, crisp Blu-ray of Wild at Heart. Katrina says it's a brilliant that people from literally all over the world and ages can connect over this so organically. Beauty of the internet. I gotta say, I'm a millennial and all that jazz, but I really don't. I'm really glad to be born in this time. With the resources I have and the resources we all have, I feel like this is just. I was born in the right time, and this wouldn't have been possible 20 years ago. So I just love this. I love the era we're in, technology-wise, and communications-wise, and it makes stuff like this just so memorable and like beautiful and all the sappy stuff. So I'm always happy talking to you guys, of course. Troy Graves said, one of the things that blew me away last night, the Eddie Vedder song lyrics are about what Audrey has gone through. I had to rewatch it with the captioning for it to hit me. See, I have to rewatch. I've still only seen it once. I'm probably going to rewatch it after the stream is over, just to get a better idea. I probably should have rewatched it before we did this, but that's okay. And I pre-ordered the album vinyl because after last night, I just want that collection. I want that Bang Bang Bar vinyl just hanging out and for me to throw on and reminisce in 10 years' time. Trina says, I agree Richard was disintegrated. I think that trap was meant to fully destroy atom by atom. It seemed like it. It just wanted to. It just like ripped him apart. Particles flying everywhere. You could. I mean, let's the benefit of the doubt. He was abducted, or it's sort of like the Star Trek thing. And I'm blanking on what it's called. Beam me up. I don't remember what they actually call it, but it like disintegrates particles and reassembles particles. But in the David Lynch way, it just seems like it's ripping him apart. So maybe he was, I don't know, maybe he was abducted, maybe he was, I don't know, teleported somewhere in a very, very severe kind of way. I think he's gone. I think he's electrocuted. When he actually went up to the rock, I'm like, he's gonna get zapped. I swear to you. I said he's gonna get zapped. For some reason, I knew. I mean, electricity is a big theme in Twin Peaks. I mean, anybody that's been watching it for more than a week could probably tell you electricity is gonna play a part in every episode in some way. But I just kept thinking he's gonna get zapped, and sure enough, he got zapped. Troy Graves says, however, we don't know what happens to the children of Doppelgangers. Does the lodge own them because Mr. C is from there? Same with Dougie's son. I don't know. I feel like this is a question for the final dossier, which I think is going to tackle a lot of the strangeness. I wish I had more time to disassemble Tulpas. But I feel like they are organic beings, so I feel like the children that come from them end up being a hybrid, or I don't want to say a lesser being, because we know Sonny Jim is a bundle of joy, but I do think I think the kids are real people, but of course, with a broken family, it's always going to be harder. So I want to know what Linda's deal is. Is Linda Diane's daughter? Is Linda Annie's daughter? I've heard people say that. I'm curious to see what happens with Linda. Sounds like the electrical sounds that Bill Hastings had on his website. Yeah, it's probably the exact same sounds. Troy says, I love that Cooper has awakened with what seems to be full knowledge of what is going on, like manufacturing Dougie, which means that for his time in the Black Lodge, he has been learning. Okay, about that. I have this crazy theory, which I discussed briefly in my review of last night's episode, but there's a part of, and I know people are sort of proving me wrong here, but there's a part of me that thinks Cooper set up Tulpas, or just knew about Tulpas before this. When he heard Doppelgangers, he probably, I mean, retroactively, they might have filled him with this knowledge, but him being of, a wealth of Tibetan sort of knowledge and of the people, the mythology, the magic, I think he knew something. And what's making me think that there's a lot of premeditation before he went into the Black Lodge, Cooper went into the Black Lodge that last time, was when they went to One-Eyed Jack's, and, he had planned everything out for the most part, what they were going to do. So I feel like Cooper wouldn't have gone in blind. I feel like he always has sort of a backup plan. Could be wrong, of course. I could be completely wrong. But I feel like maybe Cooper set these pieces in place a long time ago. Again, I don't think Cooper would want people to die, but is he someone that is, on the quest for the ultimate good, like going for the many instead of the one, that kind of thing. Good for the many instead of the one. This is something that I have to wait till next episode to really dive into, but again, Not sure. This is just a sort of a cockney, a crazy theory I have. I think he was destroyed. The coordinates were a trap set by Jeffries to destroy Bad Coop. Yeah, I think so. I mean, he said two of them match, so I think the wrong one is the right one. Yeah, we only heard about Linda once, way in the beginning. I don't remember which episode, but it was probably one of the first 4 I remember. Do you think he is creating another Dougie for Janie E or Sonny Jim? I'm convinced of it. Sorry, off topic. No, you're good. I do think he's creating another Dougie. I think. I mean, there's 2 seeds. Now there's a Diane that left her the seed, and the seed from Dougie that Mike was holding on to. So, I think we're gonna see another Dougie, maybe one that is a lot more like Coop instead of sort of just watered down version of Coop. Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like I feel like Janie E and Sonny Jim are not going to be up for getting another sort of dubious version of Dougie. Because Dougie seemed, I mean, he was with Jade, who, I mean, nothing wrong with sex workers and all that, but he also had a gambling he just seemed to have a lot of issues. He was unfaithful, stuff. So I really hope if Cooper or Mike does make another Tulpa of Dougie, that he's a lot more like Cooper, like our Cooper. I think Troy says, I think Cooper's intuition that he had in the original series was a backwards echo from these years he spent in the Black Lodge. This is possible. It seems like time is moving fluidly in Twin Peaks. It's going back and forth and around in circles and through and under. So I think everything. I don't remember if this is part of catching the big fish, but I do believe Twin Peaks subscribes to the time theory that everything is happening at once and everything is affecting each other in a way. Things are flowing backwards and forwards and up and down and just everywhere. Time is very fluid, and I think things in the future are dictating things in the past, and vice versa. So I think you're probably right about that. Rosenfield says, perhaps the moment when Rodney told Bradley to gas up the jet was my favorite of the night. Yes, Cooper's back, but the fact that the Mitchum brothers are going to Twin Peaks is definitely cool. I totally agree with you. The Mitchum brothers, of course, we thought they were bad guys. We thought they were going to give Dougie some grief when we first started watching, but I love the Mitchum brothers now. They're... Belushi, I would have never guessed in a million years that Belushi would have been in Twin Peaks and been one of my favorite characters in Twin Peaks. They're just like Doug Cooper said, they're good guys. And then Candy sort of reaffirms that. And I think we got a hint of that a couple episodes back when Candy was giving them a little trouble and she was spacey. But we saw Jim Belushi, one of the brothers, I forget their names. I forget Jim Belushi's character's name, but he says she has no place to go. So they're helping the girls. They are sort of just like their secretaries / assistants kind of things, but they are helping them. They're they gave them work when they might otherwise have none, or do God knows what to get money to survive. Helps that they're pretty too. By the way, Amy Shields on Twitter and Instagram is amazing. You guys should follow her if she's not. She's just a ball of light and joy. He could have Patrick says he also could have set all this in motion from inside the Black Lodge. That's very possible as well. He's been in there 25 years. He must have been up to something. I don't think he's been sitting in chairs and walking through curtains the whole time. The thing that you're probably spot on about that, especially because when he's speaking to Mike, he almost commands him when he's like, "Here, you still have the seed. All right, make another one." So Cooper seems to be a little, he seems to be a little in charge when he was talking to Mike. Thought that was interesting. considering that all of the evil characters have been killed, how do you think Red will get killed? I don't. What has. I mean, Red is basically just like sort of a drug peddler, right? I don't know. We haven't really seen Red do anything too terrible, have we? Except, make out with Shelly, which, made my face red. But. red. But I don't know. I don't know if he'll be killed. He might just be taught a lesson. Maybe Bobby will kick his ass or something if he sees him mistreating Shelly, which I think might happen, actually, thinking it now. Interesting theory, backwards echo. I love that theory. It's a popular time theory of everything is sort of happening at the same time on this plane, and everything is sort of connected, like veins almost, and things are dictating things here, and it's pulsating backwards through time, and just like a heart beating throughout, and it's coming back and looping around, and everything is dictating everything else. It's a theory. I really, I don't remember what the actual technical name for the theory is, but definitely check it out. It's like a thing. It's a thing. I lost my. I want to try to answer everybody's comments and questions. So he can make Cooper and a Dougie. I think he might make two. He might. I don't know. It seems like Cooper's all about the Tulpas. I get the sense that Tulpas can be programmed. I'm thinking so. I think it's all about the intent of the creator. Actually, let me look that up real quick. Tulpas. I did some reading about this. When you search it in tulpa.info, that's a website. Tulpa.info is a real website. What is a tulpa? Tulpa is an entity created in the mind, acting independently of and parallel to your own consciousness. They are able to think and have their own free will, emotions, and memories. In short, a tulpa is like a sentient person living in your head, separate from you. Interesting. Who is the dreamer? It's currently unproven whether or not tulpas are truly sentient, but in this community we treat them as such. It takes time for Tulpa to develop a convincing and complex personality. As they grow older, your attention and their life experiences will shape them into a person with their own hopes, dreams, and beliefs. You could say almost having a kid is like having a Tulpa. You'll create a Tulpa by imagining a person in your head and treating them as a person. The exact mechanism is unknown, but as you give a Tulpa attention and believe it can be a sentient person, it will grow into one and act independently of you. At first, you will be narrating to your Tulpa, speaking to it and visualizing it in your mind, and with time, you'll be able to communicate through various methods which will be described in the next section. Whoa. Interesting. This is pure who is the dreamer territory. You can probably see I'm a little wide-eyed right now because that's some crazy stuff. So Cooper can make a more righteous Dougie, Richard. Yes. I mean, from what I just read, it seems like it's all about what you want it to be. You're manifesting it with your brain. Dougie was manufactured by Mr. C, so he was a copy of a copy. If Cooper directly creates a Dougie, then Dougie will have Cooper's memory up to that point. Correct. That's what it seems like. If Cooper makes a Dougie, it's going to be Cooper instead of this sort of bastardization, which I think was what Mr. C made. I think Mr. C controlled how much Dougie could remember, and I think he also controlled how much when Diane's copy could remember. It seems that way, but I don't. Can the Tulpa? Can somebody make a Tulpa of somebody else? Or is it... I guess so. If you have the right magic. It's so interesting. I'm going to drop this link in the so you guys could take a look at this, because this is insane stuff. Eva says, I originally thought Coop was creating a new Tulpa for the purpose of the inevitable confrontation, and he himself wants to go back to Vegas, but I don't know. I think I think it could be that, or I think it is. He does really want Janie E, and he feels terrible about having Janie E and Sonny Jim dragged into this. Them just being sort of a ploy for Dougie, like just like this thing. I want. There's something there with Dougie being married to Diane's sister, but I can't put my finger on it yet. There's something there though. Troy Graves says, I figured he was creating another Dougie right when he told Janie E he would be back, and he slipped and said Dougie instead of me. I mean, at this point, I don't know who is real. I'm a little confused, but I think Cooper is Cooper. But apparently, you can make a real convincing Tulpa too. So that's super interesting. That is a very interesting variable. If Bob can inhabit Doppelganger Cooper, then we can expect to see Doppelganger Laura still inhabited by Wyndham Earl, as last seen in season 2. Laura still inhabited by Wyndham Earl. I'm not sure. Is that like a confirmed thing, or is that a theory? I never heard about that. Richard, comment that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when Laura still inhabited Wyndham Earl. Interesting. Cooper's Cooper. He doesn't want to live Dougie's life. He adores Janie and Sonny Jim, but he loves the FBI more. Yep, you're right. I do think Cooper's Cooper. He's the beacon. I don't think a Tulpa could recreate just the light that Cooper is. He could come close, but he won't be Cooper. The fuck kind of name is this? That was a good scene. Mitchum brothers all into the shady stuff, but who the hell is Linda? In the first episode, when Cooper is in that gray room talking to the fireman, the giant says Richard and Linda. He says them together, so we don't know who Linda is, but we probably find out next week. Mike is his familiar, maybe. Probably, yeah. At this point, that's what I think. But the fireman mentions her in association with Richard. Yes. Cooper was hibernating and Dougie lying in wait for the perfect time to kill Mr. I'm starting to think that too. But maybe he just needed a jolt to the system. Maybe it's that kind of thing where it's like he has like a trigger words that like cause him to act or do a certain thing. We find out Red sent the guy who killed Chantel and Hutch. That would be interesting. I guess they never got the text message, unless, I don't know. Fat Trout resident mentioned he had to get Linda's mail or something. Yeah, it was the big dude that also just recently got arrested in real life. I believe that was the same guy. When did Wyndham go in Laura? I'm not sure about that. Tulpas are not doppelgangers. I guess not. But I don't know. They might be. Tulpa's manufactured being a doppelganger is a dweller on the threshold, is Shadow's self. They are not the same at all. Interesting. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Tulpas are an answer to the dweller on the threshold. It is like sort of, not scientific answer, but I mean, more than those both can exist in this world. So, I'm just going to leave it at that. They both exist. They're separate things. Until told otherwise or proven otherwise, I'll agree with you and say they're separate things, Mark. However, kids of either Dougie or Mr. C would have Cooper's DNA. This is true. I think that I don't know how DNA works with Tulpas, but I think it's more or less the same. Again, I still have to do a deep dive in Tulpa lore, but we'll see. I think Mr. C's plan to replace everyone with Tulpas and turn the real world into his own lodge. He doesn't want to be below Mike anymore. I think he just... I don't know what the doppelganger's intention was that whole time, or what Bob's intention. I mean, it's for ultimate evil, Garmonbosia power, just to feed off of it, just to survive, or he just like screwing, like some people want to watch the world burn kind of thing. He would have an endless supply of Garmonbosia, I guess, if he destroyed the world. But this whole return is him trying to escape from going back into the Black Lodge. We haven't really seen any more of his like grand scheme. It's just him trying to stop himself from being captured, more or less. Janie and Sonny Jim will think they have Cooper, but they'll have a Coogie. Coogie. I mean, this. Yeah, I think he'll send him a bone, or Dougie. It seems Mike has to make the Tulpas. Cooper could not do it on his own, even though he wants a Tulpa of himself. It seems that way. It seems like Cooper probably just doesn't have the magic ability or the know-how. I think you have to have whatever magic to create a Tulpa. Perhaps they aren't really sisters. They might not be. That might have been a ruse. In the Black Lodge, you see Doppelganger Laura laughing the crazy backwards laugh, and frames of Wyndham Earl flash and forth with her face. Interesting. I'll have to go back and check that out. I vaguely remember that, but I don't remember enough to speak on it. Keep in mind that the Tulpa idea is a theory of the Blue Rose team. They're not fully aware of the Black Lodge rules and manufacturing people and such. This is true. Tulpa is sort of just their theory about what those are. Could be something. It could be this whole dwell on the threshold thing. Maybe it's broken, or who knows. Tulpas are just sort of a better known explanation, I guess, for doubles or triples or whatever, multiples of a person. Because when the Tulpas die, they end up going back to the Black Lodge, which I think is interesting. I wonder what that's about. By the way, why don't they just die in their spot and disappear? But they end up in the Black Lodge to really explode. Which is a weird thing. I haven't really thought about that much. Why do they end up back in the Black Lodge? Do they get sucked back in before they die? Is Naido the real Diane, or Naido? If so, who is her mother? She's clearly a threat. Looking back at part 3, I don't know. I want to know who. I'm very curious who the other woman is that was in that sort of capsule thing from part 3 that says, "Hurry, my mother's coming." The mother of all others, I don't know. The mother might be Laura, for all we know at this point. Maybe Laura is just like this, almost like this god or just overall thing. I don't. I want to say the mother is the thing that spewed out Bob and stuff, but I feel like, the mother could be Sarah. The whole idea of the mother is, there's so many possible mothers, but Sarah is an obvious mother. Audrey is also a mother. There's just like this mother thing happening, and birth and rebirth and just a lot of big, very important themes. Let's see, where was I? Naido is a good guess because Diane kept saying, "I'm in the sheriff's station." She could be Naido could be Diane. People were like, putting her name backwards. Diane. Odian. Hold on. I feel like a backwards name was Odian. Naido backwards means hate. Odian in Spanish. Let's see what it means in Japanese. I don't know. I don't have too many deep Naido theories, but yes, the sheriff station thing, that is a big red flag. What role is Red playing here? Is he just a creepy guy selling drugs, or an actual magician, or the Truman? I think he's the grandson. Again, I'm not sure, but he might be the Tremont grandson. He's the only other real magician we've seen, I believe, or magic practicer. But I feel like Tremont's grandson would probably be more ominous than Red. Red just seems like a sort of, I don't know, I could do cool magic tricks and I'm going to put a nickel in your mouth or whatever the hell he did. I don't know. I don't know what the extent of his power is. We haven't seen him since he was making out with Shelley, so I'm kind of at a loss for Red theories. My question is that no one seems to be bringing up, how did Mr. C not have cell service? Is he getting weaker? Possibly getting weaker. He's also sort of in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes I don't have cell service going through certain towns in New Jersey. Just like there's just dead zones. So I don't know. KP says, it seems insane to me that Linda hasn't been shown or mentioned by anyone but the Giant. Do you think her and Naido have something in common? I mean, I lean toward the theory that Naido is Diane. I'm starting to think Naido is Diane too. But I don't know. Linda's going to be interesting, because Linda might be a daughter Diane has, or a daughter that Annie has. I've heard people say Annie, he had a kid with Annie, but that is like a true child, because they had their sort of thing before the Mrs. Twin Peaks pageant, so they might have had a kid. Annie might have gotten pregnant then, possibly, but not sure. We're not going to talk about Linda. Also, Judy. Judy's still out there in the ether somewhere, and we've met Judy, or Cooper's met Judy. Troy says, my out there theory is that Mr. C is trying to access and corrupt the White Lodge the way he has done to the Black Lodge, and I picture Cooper and Audrey being the new Giant and Dido. Interesting. I do think we're going to see something happen with Audrey in a big way. Audrey Horne's on a spaceship. I think so too. I don't think it's too far fetched. If you read The Secret History of Twin Peaks, I think she might be on a spaceship. And I'm not really even joking there. I think she might be on a spaceship. Stuff with Earl is merely him using the power of the lodge to taunt Cooper. Once Bob took his soul, he was gone. Yeah, I think Wyndham was gone. They might mention him, but I don't see Wyndham coming back. But that's just me. Was Annie a Tulpa? Possibly. I don't know who would have made her. Maybe Dale sort of manifested Annie, but she's supposed to be Norma's sister. But Norma said she doesn't have family. A lot of weird stuff happening. Alternate timelines maybe happening and taking into effect here. Not too sure. Hell, God, baby. Damn, no. No. Damn, baby, God, hell. Alright, Jason. Troy, I agree when the Merles overstepped and Bob took him out for it. Pretty sure he's done. I think so, too. It would be cool if Red was a grandson of the Tremont or Chalfont, and the Bad Spirits have some kin. I think we'll probably find out who Red is, or we'll find out in the book, the final dossier. I think Bobby will arrest Red. I think so, too. I think Bobby's going to kick his ass. I know it's coming. There's going to be some kind of Bobby Shelley thing, retribution, but we'll see. I love Bobby so much. I love new Bobby. I love the old Bobby. I think old Bobby just, again, had a hard time, but he ended up turning out all right. I think Bobby is a good like sort of the antithesis to Richard, because Richard, I mean, Bobby had a good father, but his father was also not there in in hands on with Bobby. I love Briggs, but he wasn't hands on with Bobby, and his mom, he loves his mom, but I think Bobby was just lashing out, and he got involved with Laura, who was also trying to fix her own thing. Everybody's just trying to get through and figure out their own thing and try to move through life and all that stuff. So I think seeing Bobby in a position where he's trying to do good and he's doing the right thing, and he seems like a happy guy for the most part, besides Shelley, which I know he still loves Shelley and his daughter. Naido is also one letter off of an anagram for Diane. I mean, yeah, I think she's probably Diane. Maybe Cooper was speaking to extraterrestrials the whole time with his thing. That's a little far-fetched also, but again, I keep saying things are far-fetched, and I don't, who knows. Danielle says, I've been wondering about Annie being a Tulpa as well. Frost wrote her out of the secret history, so I've found myself wondering about the realities of her existence. I think, because I remember reading the book, there was a lot of talk about somebody messing with the dossier, somebody changing things. So I think the fact that Annie's not mentioned is intentional, possibly. I don't think she's been retconned. I think she's going to play a part. KP says, how's Annie? I think we're going to find out, and it might blow our minds, or we might not find out and just wonder for the rest of our lives. But maybe Mark Frost did get rid of her completely. Heather Graham doesn't seem to really know anything. She's sort of, I can never read her. I don't know if she plays like this very, I know she's an intelligent woman, but she does she's a goofy and sort of airheady in a cute way. So I can never tell if she's playing at it, or just that's her actual personality. Loved her in Austin Powers, Heather Graham. I think the spirits of all the people who were replaced by Tulpas are inside Naido. That's interesting. Linda is Mickey's wife. It seems that way. We haven't seen Mickey since he drove the truck, right? I think Diane and Audrey are above the convenience store, and Coop is going to get them. They're somewhere. They're definitely somewhere above. Well, we know Diane, at least. Audrey, I don't know. We are going to see the convenience store one more time before it's all over. I have this weird prediction that it's the beginning of the episode is going to be in black and white. Just intuition. Maybe not the beginning. Maybe they're just going to do some jumping around. Again, I don't know, but it would be super interesting. KP says, do any of you know the theory that Judy, as in Judy Garland or Garland Briggs, seems interesting? I've discussed this in a video. I discussed this before the season started. I did a Fire Walk With Me video before where I discussed Judy Garland Briggs. Judy Garland Briggs. I feel like my theories hit a wall with this. It might be a code name. Judy might be somebody completely new. Judy, I feel like a lot of these people are going to be the same. I still have a theory that Judy is Josie's sister. I think we've seen Judy, like Philip Jeffries said, Teapot said, we've seen Judy before, and I'm still going to I still think Judy is Josie's twin, maybe a Tulpa. Maybe a shadow version of Josie, but I feel like we've also seen Linda before. I think Judy and Josie were sort of back and forth in the original series. I don't know, like during the original series run, I don't know if this was planned, but I feel like anything we saw terrible happen, that was Judy. And I think Josie was sort of the nicer one, the one that loved Harry and stuff. But I think there was a lot. I don't know if they were working together or what. But I feel like Judy got in and destroyed Josie's life, and everybody thought it was Josie, and it was just it's a mess. That's just like my crazy theory. But I think we've seen. I think Josie and Judy are maybe the same person. Um, Maybe twins. Maybe Judy's a Tulpa. Maybe Josie was a Tulpa. Shadow self. I think they are related though. Troy says, I'm wondering if Diane was the one who opened the door to Jeffries. Her being in a nightgown is consistent with Mr. C after showing up unannounced. Possibly. I was thinking that too. She looks pretty beat up. And she was wearing sort of like a nightgown. I mean, the thing with Diane that a lot of people were realizing was that she was wearing a lot of Japanese or Asian like dress and stuff. She wore a lot of kimonos, the red. So there might be something there. There might be some kind of brain Tulpa link, which would link her to maybe Naido or to Josie or something, or Judy, possibly. I think that is the Tulpa brain link working, but maybe Judy or maybe Diane doesn't look like Laura Dern. Maybe Mr. C got that wrong. That's going to be an interesting thing. Maybe Cooper's memory of Diane was clouded, or he manipulated his own memory so that it wouldn't be like used against him and take out Diane. Linda Diane Naido. Sorry, this is random, but what is Billy's deal? Is he the drunk in the jail and only Chad and Naido can see and hear him? Why is Audrey so obsessed with him? Good question. Now knowing what we kind of barely know about Audrey, it's interesting why she's so obsessed with a Billy in her head. But of course, we could go as far as say it's the dream going so far like meta outside the dream, breaking the fourth wall. Billy Zane, where's Billy Zane? Because I want to know where Billy Zane is. I'm just joking. Bobby versus Red would be epic. I think Bobby's gonna kick Red's ass. I kind of hope so, because I think Shelly needs to wake up a little bit. I don't know what her deal is, but she also needs to wake up. Maybe I confuse Naido with other women, but let's say Naido is Diane. This could mean there are other people trapped as well with a fake or Tulpa residing in the real world. Maybe Sarah. Possibly. It seems like Tulpas are things living sort of mentally inside other things. I don't completely have a grasp on this, but seems to be that's what it is. The farmer is Billy. The background music at the end suggests that the Black Lodge has something to do with that mental space Audrey is locked in, put there by Mr. C, perhaps, possibly. Yeah, if you guys didn't realize, Audrey's dance at the end of the episode during the credits was in reverse. Naido, take off the O. Now add the E from Janie E. Diane, now flip the letters once. Diane. Jano. But Janie E spelled with two Y's. It's Janie, Janey -Y. So I don't. But also the extra E is kind of strange. Prominent electrical sound. The one when Audrey is looking in the mirror. I noticed that too. I rewatched that scene a couple times. It's Judge Judy. In the missing pieces, Jeffries referred to Judy as her and she, but we don't know if that counts. I mean, everything's up in the air right now. Anything could be anything. Yeah, Audrey's having some lodge experience, I think, or she's permanently scarred from some lodge experience in the real world and got locked up. She might be in a physical, like, institution or something. She might be in a spaceship. She might be in, like, a lodge or something different. She might be in the void. So many places. But to me, that little shot reminded me of, like, a sci-fi scene where somebody's in a spaceship and everything's all clean and white. And, I mean, that's what I get. And we know there's been plenty of alien talk, especially in the Secret History of Twin Peaks. It's starting to seem as if doppelgangers and tulpas are the same thing. Who thinks there's a difference? Yeah, doppelganger is just a modern translation, I think. Yeah, I think doppelgangers was just what they used in the original series, and I think tulpas might be sort of a real mythology thing, like to sort of give credibility to the idea of doppelganger, like it comes from something that's created. They don't just burst out of thin air. But again, there's the whole thing of shadow self, which doppelgangers can be. But again, they might be one and the same. A lot of things here are one and the same. Audrey was a threat to Mr. C because she had shown before she was willing to give her life to help Cooper. That selflessness might be what saves her in the end. The word tulpa only came up because Tammy used it. It seemed like she was using it as a synonym for double doppelganger. This is true. Could be something else. Especially if tulpas are manifested by mentally, they're manifested, and there's like a seed, which is interesting. They seem to be made from these little golden seeds, which I don't know if that's a thing that happens with tulpas, or it might be something else completely with these seeds. I think you're right. I think Tammy is speculating with the whole tulpa thing. It's sort of like it's just her answer for now. I think you're exactly right, Benjamin. See you later, Troy. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you like the rest. Doppels and tulpas, I think, are different because shadow self is part of us, and a tulpa is consciously crafted being. This is true. At least from what I read, this is true. Am I hearing maybe Audrey tried to rescue Cooper from the Black Lodge and got scrambled or caught? I don't know. I think after the explosion, Audrey probably had a really terrible time. Especially after they said Cooper sort of went to see her in the hospital, which, you know, gives you some bad visuals. Maybe Josie is Judy's tulpa. Thinkle and Chad can see the drunk. I don't know. I think he's there. I think he's just, a mess. Doesn't seem like Audrey would be in a mental hospital with the backwards playing of music. Who knows? We got 1 week. It seems like the Roadhouse when she went into it, it was a projection. I don't know. I think Billy is the drunk in jail, but there's been no real confirmation yet. I don't want to see Billy Zane. I'm sure he's a very nice person. What's wrong with Billy Zane? Doppelgangers, tulpas, twins, peaks, yes. Dualities, threes, sevens, a lot of numbers. But 2 seems to be the magic number. Unless Lucy is some kind of malevolent spirit and she bursts into flames in a white horse. I can't wait to see Lucy's reaction to Dale coming back. She's probably going to faint. Hawk said Shadow Self in Season 2. That is a doppelganger to me. Manufactured and Tulpa came into return. Lots to discuss in the coming years if it isn't cleared up. I think some things might be cleared up in the final dossier. I hope. I'm catching up with the comments, guys. Maybe Lucy's tripping that Coop is back in that vision and we saw with the fireman. Andy saw. The thing is, I don't know if that happened already or if that's going to happen. But maybe, I think there's also the theory about that insurance man that comes to see Sheriff Truman. I feel like in one of the first 4 episodes. What was Maddie to Laura? Did Maddie exist, leave, and kill the real person? Right. See, I don't think Maddie is a Tulpa because in Laura Palmer's diary, Maddie's there and she's a little older than Laura. So I don't think unless I mean I don't know. I think they're just relatives. I want to go the easy way and just say they look alike because they're relatives, which happens when you're related. So, but I don't know. I think Maddie's real though. I think she's just her cousin. Maddie was a Tulpa since birth, unless Maddie was, I don't know. Laura always looked up to Maddie. I still have to do a video about the secret diary of Laura Palmer. Might do it after the season's over. Once we get a full picture, I'm going to go back, read it, and then come back to a video or a stream discussing it. Maybe Lucy is the Coop Whisperer and has to pick out the real one from 2 or more. I feel like we'd know who the real Cooper is. He just glows. Our Cooper just glows. Did they ever talk about her parents talking to Sarah? That's totally plausible. Interesting. Laura was manufactured by Naido, though. I think the idea of Laura was conceived. I don't know if she was manufactured. The whole the yellow orb. I think it was just like the idea of Laura Palmer. I don't think it's the same thing as a Tulpa. That's how I see it anyway. So maybe Laura is Maddie's Tulpa. I think the Laura we see in the series, I don't know. I want to say the Laura we see in the series is not real, but then she could be a Tulpa that becomes so real. She's just her own thing. How many Lauras are there? Is a question I want to know. And now food is coming. Thanks for stopping by, Mr. C. Did you notice that the FBI equipment was beeping in unison with Cooper's machines in the hospital? They cut directly from the FBI to Cooper's hospital room, and the beeping is exactly the same. I did catch that, and I thought it was very interesting. And I love David Lynch's sort of reactions. I was like, there's something happening here. And I think it was also a response to what was going to happen with Diane. There was sort of a quake in the force. We got at least one uncredited cameo in Mark Frost, the man with the dog. I knew that was Frost right away. I saw his face. Still holding out hope for a surprise Harry appearance. I still want to see Harry. I still sort of holding out hope for Bowie, but I don't know if we're going to see any more Jeffries. I think the teapot might be in. See you later, Mr. C. See you next week. Can't wait till Candy and Lucy get a load of each other. Maybe never ever be able to separate. I didn't think about that. It's going to be a good scene. It'd be great though if Lucy has a moment when she comes into her own, the way Andy did with Naido. And Andy who's returning carrying Naido, the same Andy that went into the lodge. I think at the core, yeah. I think he's just imbued with all this knowledge now, which is going to make him feel a sense of responsibility, and a sense of like purpose. Because we've seen, and we know Andy's he's badass. We know Andy's a badass, and he could, he's very instinctual. But I think now it's like Andy 3.0 or something. I'll never forget the scene where he shoots Jacques Renault. And he's just standing there like, and they tell the whole story. I love that those scenes. I love Andy. I think he's always been a badass, but I think he's just going to play a very big role now. And I hope Lucy does too. What happened to Tammy when Albert shot at Diane? She disappeared from the scene and then showed up again after a camera move. Yeah, she looked like she was going to get up and then she's sitting back down. I think... I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I think that was just an error. I wonder if Andy knows why Naido is important. It seemed like he was given some extra information, like he knew somebody wanted to kill her, which it wasn't obvious during that giant fireman vision sequence. When there's no sense, there's no feeling. Maybe the fireman woke Andy up. Waking up seems to be a theme. Oh yes. Rebirth, waking up, renewal. I think that tone that we've been hearing in the Great Northern the Great Northern is definitely a tone of healing or renewal, rejuvenation frequency. Laura's the one that is what the log lady says, so not a Tulpa. I think Diane mentioned she's in the sheriff's station. Might be far-fetched, but maybe she is Naido or even Lucy. Naido seems to be the popular opinion. Lucy would be interesting. I don't know. Laura. How many Lauras is there? That's my question. If Laura is the one, which Laura is the one? Are they all Laura? Are they all the one? See, Laura Palmer is such a fantastic character. Especially, I feel like we don't get enough of her in the show, and when we read The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, we will understand who Laura is. She's just a very tortured, tortured but very strong person. She fights back. She knows what's good, but she's struggling. I just want to see redemption for Laura. I want to see her get a break after all of this. Where there is no sense, there's no feelings. What Harry Truman said when Cooper's rock ricocheted and hit Annie's head. Excuse me if you knew that. No, see, no. Thank you for mentioning. I couldn't think of it. I knew that you were referencing something, but I couldn't think of the actual scene. That's a good quote, though. I like that. Lucy and Annie both have a unique innocence to them that makes kind of sense. I agree. I think it's like this childlike wonderment that we even see in Coop, but Cooper grew up on the different side of the track, so he's a little more refined and intellectual and whatnot. So it's interesting. I love Andy and Lucy, but I think they're going to play a big part. And, I mean, everybody's going to play a big part. But we'll see. I'm very curious about Andy and Lucy. I think Jeffries is working as Gordon's partner in the lodges, sending important information through his hearing aids. I think they are linked somehow. Not sure in what way. It seems like Gordon has an extra sense. But I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure which way it manifests. Maybe the waking up theme is also a lifting of the darkness over Twin Peaks. Bad drugs, zombie people, Bobby's heart getting broken, the guy. I do think so too. I think, especially we saw that in the Ed Norma scene when the skies are all blue and it's the happy music. I think Twin Peaks is going to be okay. I really do. I really think so. I think they're going to get a break finally. The Mitchum brothers are going to, come in and help them out probably and get everybody jobs. You know how Steven had a hard time getting a job in the beginning, and this was causing so much of a problem for him. And I'm sure work is just, being able to live is a big deal for so many people, especially in regions where there's not a lot of, economic job opportunities and stuff like that. So I think that's the theme, and I think the Mitchum brothers are sort of representing the right thing to do for big businesses and stuff like that, the wealthy. Do we know which two people sent the matching coordinates? No. I don't know if the ones that Ray had were right or wrong. I don't really have any theories about who sent the bad coordinates. If Jeffrey's coordinates were the trap that killed Richard, then we can insinuate that Jeffries is working against. I think he is working against Mr. C. I think Jeffries is on his own mission. I wonder if there's a link to what Steven was saying in the last episode, the rhinoceros, lightning in the bottle, to the rock, what we see, should meet his doom. I think I want to hate Steven, but I think I wanted him to have a redemption. I don't think he did some terrible things, but I think he's someone that could have been saved, especially in the first episode. I think because everybody said they love Steven, everybody loves Steven. When then you meet Steven, he's like this terrible, like he's abusive and he's a drug addict and all this stuff. But Becky seemed to really love him, so I'm thinking maybe he hasn't always been this way. I don't know. I really wish we had seen a redemption from him. He might still. I think I'd like to see someone that like has a big turnaround and is given a second chance. And that'd be cool to see Steven and Becky happy, and then also Bobby and Shelley happy. But we'll see. Off topic, but do the Mitchum brothers remind anybody else of the Mitchell brothers, legendary porn kings of San Francisco? I think probably. I think there's probably some sort of correlation there. Maybe the Mitchum brothers using that new $30 million to help build another mill in the town will have jobs, or casino, or I don't know. Maybe you'll buy Ben Horne out of the Great Northern. I think Jeffrey's teapot coordinates and those on Ray's scrap paper are the wrong ones, and the right ones were from Diane from Ruth's arm. Might be right. 300 million. Correct. A lot of money. A lot of money. I could see them falling in love with that area, like Cooper. I could see Cooper showing them around in the finale and just saying, "Smell that, boys? Those are Douglas firs," and just like sort of being Cooper, and then taking them to try the pie. And then I could see like Belushi's character just like rolling his eyes like he's been doing, in love with the pie, and him giving them a little sort of tour before getting into action. Wait, what did Steven do? Did he do something to the girl? And of course we love him from Get Out because he's such. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Get Out yet, but I mean he was sort of yelling in Becky's face and shoving her and a drug addict, and he just seemed messed up. But I don't know. Something in me says that he's redeemable, or he was. Hopefully, I don't know if he actually shot himself. We heard the gun, but we didn't see a body, and that seems to be a rule. So maybe we'll see. I wanted the Giant to sort of imbue him with a sense of purpose, because I think that's what he needed. I agree with you, Jason. Steven is a pathetic figure in the old definition of the term. I did not read him as evil or bad as abusive as other characters. Still not okay at all. Not rotten from the inside. I don't think so either. I just like, I don't know. I like to see. I just want to see someone turn around. One of those bad guys turn around instead of them just being killed off. That's just me, though. We saw Bobby sort of. We saw Bobby sort of change his life. So it'd be cool to see that happen with some other people. Because our coordinates match, that means Ray is working with Jeffries. I mean, Ray also... I mean, he put the ring on Ray, and Ray also ended up in the Black Lodge, so... Who knows? Hey, gamer dude, bro. It occurred to me when you said Douglas Furs, Dougie Johnson. Douglas. Steven may have killed Becky. I know. If he killed Becky, then of course no redemption. Oh, I definitely need to see Get Out. It's on my radar. I will see it soon. I know it's a good movie. I don't know how I haven't seen it yet. I love everybody in that movie. Love Peel. We knew Ray said he was working with Jeffries, but the matching coordinates mean that number one, he was not lying, and two, he's working with the real Jeffries, or at least the Teapot Jeffries. Is the Teapot Jeffries? Is he? Is that just sort of like a radio? Is he speaking through it? I'm not sure. I still have I'm still playing around with Jeffries' ideas. One of the first things Cooper ever said to Harry was, "What are those amazing trees?" I remember that. I actually have I have a candle, Douglas fir candle, or pine. I don't know what they call it, but it's a pine candle. I love the smell of it. It smells incredible. If you actually, I've been up to Seattle area. Smells, those smells. Teapot Jeffries is the evolution of Jeffries. That's what I'm thinking. I had a theory that was going to be sort of, they weren't going to use David Bowie. They were just going to have him be something else. And Naido is the evolution of Diane. Is Naido the evolution of Diane? I feel like we don't need that. It could very well be, but we don't know what Diane originally looks like. Maybe the tape recorder evolved into a person. But, alright. Throw any more questions, anything you have. Everybody's pretty good. I think we're going to call it a night. We've got an hour and a half in. This has been great. I might do another one before Sunday. And I know Obnoxious and Anonymous are going to do a pre-show that I'm going to try to get on with them. What was the black box in Buenos Aires? Good question. I haven't seen that black box yet. Yet. But it's taking messages. I think that is maybe what Jeffries is speaking through. It's a recorder of some kind. It seemed like a sort of like a voice recorder, recording machine. Thanks for the sub, KP. I appreciate it. Thanks for the love. The Tulpa must look like original Diane because everyone at the FBI recognized it. This is true. Think of a Teapot Jeffries as the Tin Machine because Bowie went through that Tin Machine phase and it was like not really Bowie but a band. Yeah, I know. I think that was a little bit. I think it was a little bit homage to him. There's a lot of Bowie with like metallic pieces and teapots and stuff. Thanks, Benjamin. I'm gonna get a better webcam so we have better, a better quality stream. I'm using the one that came with my computer, but I definitely want to up the quality so it doesn't look so much like a potato. Thanks for tuning in, guys. These are always fun. If you're not subscribed, do that because that lets me know you guys are interested in videos further. Oh look, I just heard the subscribing noise. Where's the notification? It's supposed to pop up, but it's not. Oh, there we go. I need to fix the way this stream is laid out, but again, thank you guys for watching. Tin Machine sucked and Jeffrey's Machine is awesome. To each their own. Yes, love TP. Thank you guys for watching. Super appreciate it. I hope you guys know that. I really genuinely do appreciate it. Gordon knew what Diane looks like, so Dan has to look like Laura Dern. Right? Yeah, I believe it. The whole thing was, I felt it when she hugged me. Gordon knew something was off for a while. Lucy was in the clips that the Giant played for Andy, and she seemed confused. Could she be the other Diane? Lucy has always been in an odd state lately. This is true. Thanks for tuning in, Timo or Timo. Lucy. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with Lucy. I don't know. I feel like she's a little heartbroken. And not because of Andy. Of course she loves Andy, but I don't know. There's something wrong. I feel like there's something missing with Lucy. There's something up. And I don't know what it is. And we haven't gotten enough time with her to figure it out. The Bowie in the Tin Machine was the evil Bowie. Tulpa. Time to wrap this. Alright, guys. I think Benjamin is right about that. Before we hit an hour and a half. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, donate, like the video, comment. Afterwards, share it. Follow me on Twitter. You could see, down here my handle. Follow me there. I'm always up for a chat. But you can always send messages over there, and I'll respond. I'm pretty good with the responding quickly on Twitter. So if you want to go there and continue the conversation, feel free. What do you guys think is up with Audrey? I don't think she's in a coma. Is the Audrey in the Roadhouse at Tulpa? Possibly. It seems like people can inhabit Tulpa's consciousness, can inhabit Tulpa's. Vader Girl. First time here, agree about Lucy. Her son is interesting too. Oh, Wally Brando, our the Twin Peaks' heartthrob. Goodbye, my son. See you later, KP. Thanks for hanging out for the first time. Last time something was up with Lucy, she was pregnant, so this might have something to do with Wally Brando, possibly. Lucy's son was quoting Kerouac. I got what you meant there. I love On the Road. So I heard you mention the healing tone 528 hertz. Yes, I did. Actually, I've been listening to a lot of I listen to ASMR, and I've been listening to this Reiki practitioner named Luna Nate on YouTube. Check her out. She's very knowledgeable. She does a lot of these Reiki, stuff about chakras, and she has tuning forks and singing bowls and all this stuff, and it's really fantastic. I've been getting into it, but I do think that the tone that we've been hearing in the Great Northern is the healing tone. Could be another tone. I haven't done my research. Solfeggio. My cats like them too. I'm surprised your cats like them. I feel like animals, they're a little adverse to strange sounds, but that's cool. I fall asleep listening to it. I fell asleep listening to it last night. It knocked me clean out. It was also 4 a.m. I was exhausted, but it is a relaxing way to fall asleep. Yeah, guys, this is Audrey's in the White Lodge. I hope so. The thing about her being in coma, I don't think she's in a coma. People keep saying she's in a coma, but the way she wakes up or snaps out of it, people in a coma are usually lying down. Why would she be sitting up in a coma? And she's already looking into a mirror when she wakes up. So I don't know. I don't think she's in a coma. I'm going to link you guys to that ASMR channel. Do you think Richard is dead or in the lodge? I don't know. I think he's dead. But again, the whole particles like sort of falling apart. He could have been, teleported, abducted, transported. I think he's dead, but in Twin Peaks, nobody's ever really dead. Cats apparently purr at the healing frequency, which is why they're less prone to osteoporosis than dogs. That frequency heals bones. That's what I hear. I love that. When you're in a coma, you're not lucid, so I think that the bunks... I think so too. I don't think it's a coma, but I've heard a lot of people talk about a coma. The old show talked about a White Lodge and a Black Lodge. I don't know if we've seen the White Lodge yet. She might be in the White Lodge, possibly. Since she did sort of come on this other arc where she tries to do better by herself and for her community, so she might be worthy of the White Lodge. No problem, Eva. It's a great channel. Remember I'm walking them when they use sulfate tones and people turning zombie? Oh, I forgot they did that. Cool little bit of little factoid there. I totally forgot about that. I think Audrey is in a locked in state, like in the diving bell and the butterfly. You can hear. I think so too. I think that's exactly what's happening. Wasn't the White Lodge covered in flowers and beautiful nature? It seemed to remember seeing the Major Briggs on a throne with white flowers and nature. I don't remember that. Hold up. White flowers in nature. Oh, yes. Okay. I see the image here. How did I forget about this? Maybe that was the only time we saw the White Lodge? I'll see if I can bring it up for you guys. Crazy. I forgot about that. Aliens. Always aliens. The fireman is in a watchtower. I've been calling it the watchtower because it's sort of gray. It's in the middle. It's sort of watching everything. It can't be. It's trying to keep a balance. I don't think the fireman is bad or good. I think this evil is so far in front, and we're trying to balance it, especially with the atom bomb and all this terrible stuff that's happening. I'm going to bring up this Major Briggs image real quick because I think it's interesting. I totally forgot about this. Do you guys remember this scene? I totally forgot about this scene. Interesting. I really need to rewatch season 2. Maybe it was just Major Briggs' recollection of the White Lodge. I could see the White Lodge being very full of nature. I think it begins involving a lot of nature spirits and not just... I feel like the Black Lodge is a creation of man. Nature exists, and then man comes in with all this sort of... you go back to even Adam and Eve eating the apple off the tree. The White Lodge could be, could be the kingdom of heaven. You could get into a lot of the metaphors and symbolism there and reference other religions and mythologies, but I think I could see it being, a nature-filled place. What do you think is the connection to energy, the light socket, the nuclear bomb, the kid with the glove? Everything is energy. Everything is electricity. Everything is electricity. Everything is run by energy. It's everywhere. It's connected. Everything is connected. I think electricity is just life. I
After watching the last episode of season 2, the slow banker walks out of the vault and seeing his glasses fly during the explosion. I always assumed Audrey would be dead. I mean, yeah, that was left sort of open. She's not in the vault, but she's pretty close. I don't know how strong the bomb must have been pretty strong to have that guy's glasses fly out of the room. But who knows? Daniel says, yeah, I'd be surprised if that was how the White Lodge would be represented in Lynch's vision of season 3 this far. It's gonna be. It's probably gonna be like this beautiful floor. Like Twin Peaks might be the White Lodge, and it's being corrupted. It's just all this forest, beautiful trees and animals and all this stuff. Just nature, pure nature, untouched, like serene location, nature. It's just a beautiful place that has been untouched by the evils of man. White horses. White horses. I discussed white horses a while back, especially because the casino where Dougie first comes in is called the Silver Mustang, which is a white horse. White horses are sort of a symbol of wisdom and power, and it's also a white horse of death. So take what you will. You put your intent, I think. I think that's really what is meant to be shown with white horses. You believe what, like, you sort of build whatever thought in your head you want it to be. It can mean this or that, which is true of anything. Great image with Briggs amid all the greenery. I honestly forgot about that. I feel silly. Thanks for subscribing. I have everything all mushed up here. I'll put alerts up in the corner. Smile face all refers to Mr. C smiling to Diane before he assaulted her and needs the rest of the coordinates from her. Yeah, he just walked in with that smile on his face, that evil smile. Black flame in Diane's face. Black fire. Satan. Electricity is modern snakes. Electricity is energy. Hissing sound, snake sound. Is Ben Horne a good guy now? Is that old guy his mischievous brother? Yes. Ben Horne, I think, is a good guy now. He seems to understand what the right thing to do is. And Jerry, the binoculars, backwards. Yeah. Love Jerry this season. He's a mess. Do you think the Roadhouse might be the White Lodge? No. I think the Roadhouse is an interesting place. It could be a place of such beauty, and like it's like the perfect metaphor for like civilization almost. Not to get too like philosophical and stuff, but it's like there's just these quiet, beautiful moments with the beautiful music, and everybody's sort of in sync, and everything is just like okay. And then other days there's people beating the crap out of each other and being terrible to each other. It's just almost like this like box experiment of humanity. And I guess that's true of any sort of venue place. It's all about the mood and the intention. It's an interesting thing. It's a thought that just came to me now. Secret history: Pete shielded Audrey with his body. That's right. I forgot about that. Oh, Pete. I miss Pete. I love Pete. Even if Pete shielded her, wouldn't she have severe burns? Possibly. I mean, if the Audrey we've been seeing so far isn't the real Audrey, then the one we see in the mirror probably is. And we've only seen her from the neck up. Could the mayor's brother Douglas Milford? Right? I had the secret history here. Yeah, I guess so. That's another Dougie. I really need to reread this. Douglas Milford, yes. That's another Doug. She may have burned. We haven't seen really anything but her face, yeah. I heard that one out there, but can you really shield somebody from an explosion? The thing is, I don't know how strong that explosion was, but if Pete took most of the heat, she could have been saved from burns. Hope we get Jerry back enjoying life and munching his edibles and a smoked cheese pig and a baguette. Anything can happen in Twin Peaks. I miss Leo. I do too. I know he's terrible, but even at the end, he vouched for Shelley. So that was cool, I guess. New shoes. Gotta love Jerry's attitude at life this season. Jerry's killing me anytime he's on the screen. There are no records on Dougie before 1991. This is correct. I believe. 1991 or 97. Somebody before said 97, but I can't remember exactly. Leo was a great bad guy. No one is as evil as Leo or Bob. Miss Leland, too. I don't think so either. I think there's just complex beings. There's people that have a harder time than others. I think everybody is... I mean, maybe I've watched too much Batman, but I think there are people who are more absolute than others, or seemingly more absolute, but I feel like everybody is redeemable to a point. And I say that with a grain of salt and a little bit of naivety and a little bit of optimism, but I'd like to think that helps me sleep at night at least. But I that's something I believe. Bale was the best Batman. I'm glad you. I'm curious to see more Affleck though. I love Ray Wise. My God. I think James is James. I don't think James is a Tulpa. I mean, he got into an accident, but James has always been cool. Steven was more of a little pine weasel when compared with big psycho Leo. Man, Affleck. We'll see. I don't know. Just watched Mulholland Drive for the first time. That's a good one. Do you think Kyle will win an Emmy this year? I hope so. If not, David Lynch for Gordon Cole. Speaking of which, I might see Kyle on Thursday. He's promoting his wine somewhere near me, and I'm probably gonna go pick up a bottle and get a signature, hopefully, and maybe get a picture. Crossing my fingers. It's gonna be cool to see Agent Cooper in the flesh. Try not to be too starstruck. I don't get starstruck often, but I feel like I'm gonna be a little starstruck when I meet Kyle. Laura Dern is always amazing. Everybody on the show is amazing. I know people were giving Christabel crap in the beginning, but I'm sure she's won a lot of people over since then. Laura Dern's monologue was insane Yes, major props to Laura Dern for that monologue. That couldn't have been easy to get into. I don't know how she approaches acting, but getting into the mindset of somebody who's been abused and raped couldn't have been easy. Laughed out loud at Laura Dern's line, Deputy Diane reporting for duty. Mr. C is a pretty wicked... Oh, right, you probably could get something from Mr. C. What is this? Kindergarten? Oh, just dropped that maybe you're going to meet Kyle on Thursday. He's literally going to be like 20 minutes from my house. So, like, if I don't see him, stupid on me. Dinosaur dung helps. Baby smell.
Baby smile. That was my first Laura Dern movie. Let's rock. I really hope we get to see Diane for real. I love the Casino brothers, the Mitchum brothers, fantastic. Belushi, fantastic. They're both fantastic. I wonder if we're gonna see Anthony, the dude that tried to get Dougie killed. I wonder if we're gonna see more of him, or if that was it after that crying scene he had. Laura Dern gasping for air after telling her story was on point. She was brilliant. She really, if she doesn't, I feel like Twin Peaks is gonna get, shafted come Emmy time. I really feel that way, but you never know. Upset they killed Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh. They were good. They were good. I'm going to miss Diane's. Fuck you. Iconic. So simple, but yeah. Yes. Skates Fisher says, yesterday I was watching a video on time by quantum physicists. They say that the future, past, and present were all occurring at the same time. They explain how this correlates to our version of time and made me think of Philip Jeffries and Briggs. Skates, you'll be happy to hear, but we actually discussed this. I actually discussed this early on in this stream. I talked about how time is sort of on a plane and it sort of washes back and forth and dictates the past, dictates the future, and future dictates the past. Interesting you brought that up because that's the theory I've been playing with, and you just brought it up again. So it kind of I feel a little bit better about myself that actual quantum physicists discussed the same thing. Like Lost, yeah, a little bit, yeah. Parallel, everything's happening at the same time, and they're dictating one another. I also read a lot of quantum physics books. Actually, one second, I actually just bought this book. This one has been recommended to me. I haven't started it yet, but Fred Allen Wolfe, Parallel Universes. It's pretty decent size. It's an older book, but I've been told it holds up very well. Kind of gives you a lowdown on stuff: real time, zero time, imaginary time, and real space and imaginary space. I love this stuff. It's so good. So good. Lindelof is involved in Twin Peaks too, right? No. He moderated the Twin Peaks panel at Comic-Con, but he's not involved. I think he wishes he was. I watched Lost. I will never... I don't think I'll ever forgive him for that ending. He effed up Alien even more. You know what? I agree. I didn't like Prometheus. I haven't seen Covenant yet. I don't know if I will. But it was not. I mean, Prometheus was such a cool premise, and I feel like it just missed. There was something missing. The magic box. I don't think we're gonna see the box again. And if the whole New York scene, the New York scenes in Twin Peaks made me a little sad. And this is probably my own theories, but I think anywhere there's been like massive amounts of trauma, there are tears in the fabric of reality which allow certain things to get through. And I think New York City has seen so much pain and horrors throughout time. And we all know September 11th. And I think the reason that the mother got through into the box, if that was the mother, is because of all the tremendous evil that takes place, that in New York City. So that's just my theory. But I feel like having a whole... I really would love to know what's going on in the universe of Twin Peaks in New York City. I think that the concept of alternate timelines is kind of made a literal at Jack Rabbit's palace when the multiple versions of each character return from different directions. See, there's two I have two interpretations of that scene. I do think maybe it's multiple versions. But I've also seen this sort of filmmaking technique used when time passes and people are sort of just pacing around, and they sort of make it seem like ghostly and stuff. But again, it could be, probably is parallel timelines. As we know, other World Series parallel universes, they're all kind of syncing up. There are, I guess, fixed points also in the Twin Peaks universe. I feel that at the Civil War battlegrounds, strong energy, lots of orbs and energy. I've never been to anything. I've never been to Gettysburg or anything, but I can imagine it's pretty intense. I have been inside the new World Trade Center. I live very close to New York City. I'm there all the time. And the first time I went into the new World Trade Center, I welled up a little bit. I felt it. It's powerful stuff, man. Video name on YouTube is The Illusion of Time, Past, Present, Future all exist together. Put out by Parallax. The bad electricity for sure hangs around and can corrode the good. Black Fire. Wouldn't let me add the actual link. Hey, Skates, if you want to send it to me on Twitter, I'll post it in the chat. Just you see my Twitter handle on the screen, if you want. Gettysburg is pretty intense. I've never been. I don't live that far. I live in New Jersey, so I'm not that far from PA. I've been touched at haunted locations. Feels like spider webs. See, ghosts, and I feel like this could be a whole nother like Halloween time video. I have theories about like spirits and ghosts. I guess I could go into it a little bit. I think spirits and ghosts they speak almost like tulpas. They speak to us through rather than a physical way. I feel like they get to us mentally and like project themselves maybe, and the things we feel are just triggered by the brain. If ghosts do exist, I don't think there's a physical form. I think it's just sort of energy and maybe some sort of psychic kind of thing. But I'm not sure. That's just sort of my newer theory of what ghosts and spirits are. I don't think what you're seeing, if you ever see a ghost, is like, I don't think that is where the ghost. I think that's where it's projecting itself. That's just my theory on what ghosts are, if ghosts are real. If ghosts were to be real, I think they are psychic projections. Was the boiler room in James' scene just an Easter egg or deliberate canon reference to the European pilot ending? I think it was a little bit of a reference, but I do think it is might be a throwaway scene. I think it was all about that noise. That noise is bringing people together. That frequency. The boiler room did take place in the hospital in the European ending. It's when they go to see Mike in his hospital room, and Mike says like he's close, and then they go down to the basement, and then Bob does his little spiel. Vader girl says, agreeing ghosts, I'm sensitive to them. Get touched a lot. I don't see them, just feel the touch, heat, cold, etc. It's all energy, man. All energy. And of course, gravity is more intense in some locations and less intense, and that could also be a factor. I try to put science
into everything, but I know there's so much we don't know, and so much our perspective is so limited as humans that I used to be very atheistic, and now I've just resigned to I don't know. James is out of it, and he has not always been cool. That hitting on a wife in front of a husband, not cool. See that part. I think he was just being nice. As a nice guy, I would try to be nice, and I think the dude overreacted. I don't think he was hitting on her. I think he was just happy to see her. But that's just me. James was never cool. He just thought he was cool. I think James is... I don't know. I like James, but I don't know. He's messed up, too. Especially the stuff with his mom always being gone. I don't think he ever really had anybody until Laura. He didn't really have any... It doesn't seem like he had any other friends. He's just, like, alone. I wonder if that ring sent James to hit on Renee. James Crowley, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it triggers something that, pushes people in the right direction. What seems like an intense bar fight led him and Freddie to the jail cell, where they will probably protect Naido with that green glove. When I was touching Berkeley Springs, where crystals everywhere in water, spirits were strong. That energy, I love it. This is James Gigbo stealing girlfriends and wives. It's what he does. I love James. Everything just feels off. James can't sing. Not cool, James. Where is his mom? Where's Donna? All good questions. You think Audrey sensed her son dying? Is that why she woke? Possibly. Something snapped her out of it. That fighting. I think whatever that fighting was broke her whatever trance or whatever the hell she was in. She looks nothing like Donna anymore. Yeah, Lyra Flynn Boyle's probably definitely not in it. I don't think we're going to hear anything about Donna. Some people think she died in that motorcycle accident with James, but I don't think so. I don't think Audrey knows she has a son. Possibly not. Mothers feel when a child is hurt. This is true. This is a popular thing. Interesting. Moira Kelly maybe does. Laura aged. Oh man. I think everybody looks pretty good for their age still. Everybody, especially Kyle MacLachlan. Damn, dude is killing it. I think the fight with Audrey was the green glove punch fight on another plane. I'm not sure. I think I don't know what that fight was about, but it definitely woke her up. Maybe it was a sort of a blast from the past recurring. Not sure. Guys, we're almost at 2 hours. Wow, she looks older than her mom. I don't know about that. I think Cheryl Lee looks pretty good. I saw pictures from her from the Twin Peaks Fest. She looks pretty good. I'd say she looks pretty good. Hey guys, putting out a question. What other day this week would y'all think is good for another stream? Because this one's reaching 2 hours. I got stuff to do. I think so too, Timo. Let me know what days are good for you guys. I'll probably do it in the evening, of course, but I would like to do another stream before finale day. And then after finale, we'll have so many streams and videos every day. I was thinking about doing Twin Peaks videos every day. I saw that, Mark. Stephanie. The picture I saw looked like a 3, but again, I don't know. I was thinking Wednesday, James. Thanks, Vader Girl. I was thinking Wednesday, maybe every other day, because then Wednesday, then we have Friday, and skip Saturday, then Sunday is the big day. So maybe I'll do one on Wednesday. Skates. I didn't like that bob style haircut on Laura. It didn't feel right. Like, what? She got a haircut in the lodge. Seems like Cooper was working out in the lodge too. Big Brother Oak. What do you think has happened to Sarah Palmer? How long has she been in the doorway or a container? Such a malevolent force. Is she a Tulpa? Not sure. Maybe I'll do another video tomorrow. Maybe just a recorded one. Not a stream. Alright guys. Before this gets way too long, I'm going to leave you guys there. I'll figure out another day to do a stream. Follow me on Twitter if you want to find out when the next streams are. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not. Would love to see you guys again. We'll love to talk to all of you guys. You bring up some good points. Want to get on the Sarah thing. I do. But I got stuff to do, guys. So check me out over on Twitter. I'll talk to you guys all day. I'll talk your heads off. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Sometime this week, we'll do another one. I promise. No problem, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Seriously. I appreciate all y'all. You're great. See you guys later. See you next time.